Okay, I guess we can get started. Good afternoon and welcome to Resources and Opportunities. My name is Angie Binen, Assistant Director of Enrollment, and I will be hosting this event. Supporting me today are my colleagues, Anita O'Shaben, Leanne Gonzalez, and Liz Villegas. Before we dive in, let's just share where we're all logging in from. So if you can drop in the chat box the city or town you're in, so you can see where we're all coming from. Rona, Santa Ana, Menifee, okay. Cherry Valley, Chino, Anaheim. Oh, Forest Falls. I used to hike Forest Falls. I love it. Angeles Oaks, great. Don't you just love how we can just be connected like this in a virtual setting when we're all over the place? Ukraine, excellent, wow. Santa Fe, hi Cassandra. Wonderful. Thank you all for sharing this. This is wonderful. I'm in San Anselmo at our Marin campus, just north of San Francisco. So I know that it's not possible to have your camera on, but you are now part of the U of R Bulldog family, and many of you will have classes together. So if you're in a location where you can't turn your camera on or you have good bandwidth, we encourage you to do so. So just a little housekeeping before we begin. Please mute your microphones. You'll have an opportunity at the end of this webinar to unmute yourself and ask questions. Also, you can choose the side-by-side view in the upper right corner of your screen if you're using the desktop. If you're using a mobile device, that option is in the left corner of your screen. So we have some very special guests for you today. Joining us are Lauren Wooster from the Office of Career and Professional Development, Janelle Juligay, Assistant Librarian for Business and Online Learning, and Michael McQueen, Professor of Accounting and Finance and International Programs Director. Just please know that we are all one team dedicated to supporting you on your educational journey. This event is part of your new student orientation that connects you to the resources and opportunities you may need throughout your program. A few weeks ago, we hosted part one of the back to school session that introduced you to your Assistant Director of Student Success, or your ADSS. We like acronyms around here. How to plan and register for courses through student service and student planning, or self-service and student planning. You heard from some of our professors, and you will again today. We covered veteran and military services, student financial services, and how to obtain your textbooks. So in the chat box, my colleague Leanne will drop the link to the back to school landing page where you will have access to all of these resources. We encourage you to use the chat box to ask questions, or you can save them for the Q&A portion at the end of this presentation. Okay, let's get started. So what we'll cover today is the Office of Career and Professional Development, also known as OCPD, Campus Diversity and Inclusion, CDI, library resources, study abroad and the Writing Lounge, IT services, as well as campus services. And so now I'd like to introduce you to our first guest, Lauren Wooster, Associate Director of Career Strategy and Integration. Lauren, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Angie. Hi, everyone. It's nice to virtually meet you. As mentioned, I'm with the Office of Career and Professional Development, and we are really your one-stop shop for all things career and professional development. It's right in the title. We can help you think about how you might align the program of study you chose to your career goals after graduation, or even during, in some cases, if you're currently in your role and you want to think about how to, maximize the work that you're doing. If you know you have a promotion coming up or you're excited about those opportunities to think about your next interview process, your next salary, we help you think about all of those. And Angie, you can go to that next slide. So here's a more specific, bulleted list of all the different things you might want to book a session to discuss. We have an easy link there for you to follow And that gives you access to our one-on-one coaching in a virtual setting. So as we see, we're kind of all over the
first
place.
7-8 minutes.
You'll be working with us through this virtual studio. If ever you are on Redlands campus, we will also have some drop-in hours that will be posted online and on the door of our office. We're in Armacost Library on the north side. You also see we have a little bullet here for events. We do try to connect you with employers often. Our big event this fall that I encourage you to attend or to learn more about is the Career and Internship Expo. So we have a lot of employers who come through. That will also be virtual this year. And that gives you an opportunity to hop into an employer info session, or in some cases, sign up for a little 10-minute one-on-one to learn about the hiring process at those organizations. And our orgs do reach out to us about College of Arts and Science students who are finishing their undergraduate degree within school business, as well as school business master's programs. So a lot of opportunity there. And then the best way to find out about those is on the next slide. All the great ways to stay in touch with us, right? Our main one that I want to highlight is that website, ocpd.redlands.edu. We've really enhanced this to provide articles of interest. We have things based on our identity. All of us hold multiple identities, and those show up at work. So whether you may have a disability or you want to know about your rights, depending on certain identities you may have, go there. We have lots of information about that. We also highlight jobs from our Handshake website. So that's that next bullet point, redlands.joinhandshake.com. That's a great place to start looking for jobs. It posts anything from internships to CEO level jobs. The more you engage with that system, the more you'll get back from it. So employers can actually reach out to you as well. So if you are actively searching, it's a great place to go. And then we also have redlands.alumnifire.com, and that is all about networking. So if you didn't already know, 85% of your next opportunities will come through your networking connections that you have with professionals in the field of your interest. So hop on Alumni Fire, meet some alumni who might be doing similar jobs to your interests, start making those connections now. And then if you use any of these social media platforms, we are on them, and we are happy to answer quick questions there. And especially Instagram, I would say, is our most popular. So that one is our most active. And sometimes we'll have live chats with cute little Q&As with HR professionals or other folks. So follow us at Redlands Career. And always check for Redlands Career videos on YouTube as well. We have a lot of how-tos, quick videos of how to use all of our resources, and longer webinars recorded about, deep dive into how to build your resume or advance it. So thank you so much. And you can always get in touch with us. I'll drop our main office email in the chat as well if you have any follow-up questions.
Thank you so much, Lauren. And next slide, please. So our Office of Campus
Bring this up.
Diversity.
I asked already several times. Thank you, Dominic, for getting ready.
All right, let's mute ourselves. So our Office of Campus Diversity and Inclusion, or CDI, supports the efforts of all campus departments to achieve their diversity and inclusion goals. If you'd like to get involved or have ideas and contributions, you can connect with CDI through email or stop by their office at the main Redlands campus and check out all of the great work they do on their Facebook and Instagram pages. That's a little bit about our CDI office. Next slide, please. An important and vital part of your studies involves the library. I'd like to now introduce you to Janelle Juligay, your Assistant Librarian for Business and Online Learning. Janelle, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Angie. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you out there in internet land. I want to talk a little bit today about term as your return to school after maybe a break from being in an academic setting, around kind of what you can expect to find at the library and what are resources that might lie beyond what the library has and how I can help you kind of navigate all of that. So I've been with the university for just over 10 years now, been working with the School of Business and its students and faculty that entire time. So I'm pretty familiar with the kinds of assignments you're going to encounter and the kinds of resources that you're going to need. But that doesn't mean that I have a crystal ball. So you should feel free to reach out to me anytime with questions that you have regarding anything from a required reading you might have that's listed on the syllabus for your course, to kind of some independent research that you want to do on your own. And so let's kind of walk through those different stages of needing information and where we can kind of work with you at different stages. So the first time you're going to need information or some kind of resource, some kind of text is probably going to be, you're going to get a syllabus for your class and there are going to be textbooks listed on it. There are going to be other required readings listed. And for textbooks, that's where you go to the bookstore. You might have various online vendors that you have in mind to get those resources from. But if it's a kind of traditional textbook where, you know, it's the 9th edition from Pearson, that's not going to be something that the library has. We just can't afford to get every single new edition of every textbook taught for every class on campus. And so that's kind of part of something that you have to acquire on your own. But anything else, you should really kind of think the library probably has that or can get it for me. So there might be other required readings on that syllabus that you have in your hand, that are journal articles or videos that you have to watch or case studies that you need to read. And to different degrees, I can help you get all of those things. So one thing that really stands out is there is a collection called Harvard Business Review Case Studies, which exists on a lot of the syllabi that you're going to be receiving from your professors. And unfortunately, that vendor doesn't allow any universities to get a institutional level subscription. So that's one category wherein you're still going to have to kind of treat that like a textbook that you have to purchase on your own. But everything else, we either have through the library website, or we can get to you through the library website. So you're going to see on your syllabi a lot of peer-reviewed journal articles. And so these are journal articles that have been written by other academics in the field that you're studying in that class, and they've gone through the peer review process. And you can discover most of these resources through the link listed on the PowerPoint here, which I'll also kind of just put in the chat right now. And there is a way to search for anything in the articles, books, and more tab on that link. And so you can really kind of copy and paste what you have in your syllabus into that and usually discover it there. If you're hitting a wall, it might be because of something simple, like something's misspelled or there's incomplete information. Or it might be because it's something that lies beyond our owned collections, in which case you can request it through interlibrary loan. And it's a really simple process where you log in, you make the request, and I placed an interlibrary loan last week and I placed, I think, 7 different orders and I had them all by the end of the week, most of them the same day. So if you encounter that, don't think that that's a barrier for you. Go ahead and place the request, and it's free to you as a student. It's included in your tuition, as are all of the resources that the library subscribes to on your behalf. So please make use of that. And I really just want to emphasize that, both because it's part of what you're paying for in your tuition, and also because your professors really expect you to engage with these resources. When they say, and they give you an assignment, and they say, we would like you to find 3 peer-reviewed articles and incorporate them in a discussion of this topic, they're really expecting that you're going to go to the library website and make use of the resources that you have there. So if you're having trouble finding the kind of thing that you thought you needed to find, or you're just kind of not getting the satisfaction in your search, that's what I'm here for. I am absolutely here to help you with that. So my contact information is also at that link. Email, phone, WebEx. I have office hours that I'm holding in person in the Redlands campus in the library and online. throughout the semester. I should have the same office hours this entire academic year. So I am here for you and happy to help you. I love helping students with research, which is fortunate because that's exactly what my job is. So I look forward to kind of hearing from you about what you're working on and how I can help you with it. In the little kind of green bubble here, I have that your My Redlands ID and password is your library ID and password. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to come up with a new one for anything. I know we all have many passwords in our lives. So it's the same information. If you're already logged in to your two-step authentication for the day through your My Redlands, you should be able to seamlessly get through to library resources as well. There's a chance that I will be visiting you in one or more of your classes as you make your way through the program. Maybe you'll have a research intensive assignment that you have to do and your professor will invite me in. And so I look forward to meeting you in that venue as well. But like I said a moment ago, please reach out. I'm here for you and look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. Yes, as you can see, we clearly have a lot of resources available to you. And the nice thing about this virtual setting is, I love libraries. I spent a lot of years in libraries, and you don't have to step foot inside physically. You have all of this available to you, as Janelle said. Thank you, Janelle. So next slide, please. Okay, dust off your passports because you're about to hear from Michael McQueen, Professor of Accounting and Finance and International Programs Director. Michael, take it away.
Thank you, Angie, and welcome everyone to probably the most exciting part of your experience at the University of Redlands School of Business, and that is participating in one of our international programs. We typically run 4 or 5 different study abroad trips every year. They are short-term in nature, designed to fit into your busy schedule. In fact, this year, the programs that we're hoping to run in 2022 will be a little bit shorter than some of the ones we've held in the past. I'll talk a little bit more about those as we go through the slideshow. But we have 2 distinct type of international programs. We have the study abroad, and we also have the global consultancy capstone course. So I'll be talking about both of those. I'm showing you a few slides that are part of our frequently asked questions. One thing that I do want to mention is on every Moodle site, there are 2 buttons. One will take you to the study abroad site, and the other one will take you to the consultancy capstone course site. So each one of those international programs has their own website, and you can learn more about the programs. We're going to be updating those fairly quickly here as we start to design our 2022 programs, which we are very optimistic we'll be able to run despite the COVID situation. So go ahead and keep rolling there, Anita. Okay, so what are School of Business International programs? As I mentioned, the first one is the code is INTB 470 for undergrads, 670 for grads. This is study abroad. It includes 3 pre-class sessions. Most likely 2 of those 3 will be conducted virtually, and 1 will be conducted in person so everyone can get to meet each other and sort of try to pick roommates, etc. The other is the Global Consultancy Capstone course, and this takes the place and substitutes for your capstone. In other words, typically that's the last class in your program of study. Study abroad and international programs are open to all of our programs, both undergraduate and graduate. Okay, next. So let's talk a little bit more about study abroad. We go to lots of different places all over the world. You can see recent trips: UK and France, Italy, Croatia and Slovenia, South Africa, Thailand, Vietnam and Cambodia, Poland and Hungary. While we're on this slide, let me tell you about the programs that we have planned, the courses we have planned for 2022. In the spring, we will be running what's known as our UK and France trip, or UK and Paris trip. That'll probably take place at the beginning of May. It's going to probably be 11 or 12 days in length. And we visit, during that program, we're going to visit Cambridge in the UK, as well as London and then Paris. Also in the spring, we hope to run a trip to Italy and Slovenia. In the fall, we'll be running also two trips that are new to our international programs. Probably in October, we'll be running a trip to Portugal and Morocco. And then in November, we're going to be visiting Panama for the first time. The interesting thing about the Panama trip is we're trying to make it a little bit shorter since it's in the same hemisphere. It'll probably be about 8 days. So you don't have to take that much time off of work. Obviously, it'll be less expensive as well. But each of these courses includes, as I mentioned, these pre-engagement sessions, and they do you can replace this course with a variety of classes that are on your program of study. Next. Okay, the global consultancy, as I mentioned, it takes the place of your capstone course. Just so you're aware, we also run a consultancy that is domestic. So if you can't travel overseas, or you don't have the resources to travel overseas, the consultancy capstone course is also domestic in nature. We go all over the place with these global consultancies. We've had them in the United Kingdom, we've had them in Ireland, Iceland, Switzerland, Portugal, Italy. So most of them do take place in Europe, but we have plans to have these in all different places all over the world. Next. Okay, what course can study abroad replace? So this just shows you a few, depending on your program of study, what you can replace with study abroad. Typically, it's your international business course or your capstone. So you can actually do a study abroad course instead of your capstone as well. And one of the things that people always worry about is, does my study abroad course have to correspond with the same international business course? And the answer to that is no. What you would do if you want to do study abroad, and let's say your international business course falls in the spring, but you want to go to Panama, and that doesn't fall until the fall. Well, what you would do is you would just not take your international business course, perhaps take another course in its place, and then when the actual study abroad course does fall, then you'd take that. Now, would you be potentially doubling up with another course in your program of study? And the answer to that is yes. But obviously with the internet and the way we're running classes now, shouldn't be a problem at all. You can just log in when you have your other class while you're abroad, and that would take care of that. Okay, next. What are the course requirements? Again, we have the pre-travel phase, which I mentioned. Those are the pre-departure class sessions. Then we have the travel phase, which is the engagement itself. If it's a global consultancy, it's a 1-week international engagement with a company abroad. And if it's study abroad, it involves all sorts of business visits, cultural activities, lectures, seminars, etc. And then you have what's known as the post-travel phase. So in the case of study abroad, you'll be preparing a travel journal and a research paper. And in the case of the consultancy, you'll be preparing a comprehensive consulting report for the executives of the company that you're working with. Okay, next. What if I'm taking another course? We've already talked about that. It's okay. Your particular trip does not need to correspond when you would be taking your international business course. You can just delay or take the trip and not worry about taking your international business course. If you do take the international business course and then you want to do study abroad, unfortunately, you won't be able to get credit for both unless you use study abroad as your capstone course, which of course you can do. Next. What's included? So we include all ground and air transportation in the foreign country, your double occupancy accommodation, foreign tuition with any costs associated with the business visits, admission and accompanying costs for events and cultural excursions. What don't we include? The international airfare. So we used to include the international airfare, and so many students wanted to go to the foreign location early, or they wanted to stay a few days later, that we decided that what we would do is let students make their own international air travel arrangements. Now, if you feel uncomfortable flying on your own, you know, you're not a frequent flyer, you're not familiar with that, your faculty supervisors that go with you will have their flight itineraries available to you so that you can fly along with them. Okay, next. Scholarships. We have multiple scholarships for a variety of scholarship opportunities for a variety of programs, some of which pay for the entire cost of your international trip, some of which pay for a portion of your international trip. So those are available. Again, if you click on the button in any of your Moodle sites, it's usually located at the very end of the Moodle site. If you click on the Study Abroad button, that should take you to a website that will describe the study abroad scholarship opportunities that are available. Next. Can you bring a guest? And the answer is yes. A lot of people bring guests. They bring their spouses, they bring their partners, sometimes they bring their children. Again, if they're over 16, if you want to bring a child that's under 16, just contact us and we'll talk a little bit about it. And the reason that we usually don't take guests under 16 is they're usually not interested in participating in all of the business visits, etc., that we have, and so there's no one to supervise them while you're in your business visit. But yes, you can bring a guest. I've had people bring their parents. So yep, you name it, anyone can bring a guest. Next. Can I be a guest? And the answer is yes. We encourage alumni to travel with us, and a lot of alumni do. It's a professional development opportunity. On one of our recent trips to South Africa, I think we had as many alums traveling with us as we do having students themselves. So it was a fantastic opportunity. Next. What can you expect? We have, this won't happen this time, but we have various video clips that are embedded into this slideshow. So we will make these available to you on the Study Abroad website, so you can click on them and plays a little video about some of the places that we've been. This is the website that you can go to if you don't want to use the button in your Moodle site. And so, yeah, please, I encourage you to go to the websites. We'll have those again updated for 2022 within the next few weeks, and that'll be good. Next. Okay, so I think this is the last slide. As you can see, you feel free to contact me at any time, or Allison Freyberg, who's the Associate Director of International Programs, and we will be glad to tell you about all things international at the University of Redlands School of Business. This is a unique opportunity that is not offered at most universities of our type and size. A lot of universities will offer a single study abroad program, perhaps to England, etc. But we offer a wide variety of programs, at least 4 every year. And so I encourage you to take advantage of those and at least to check it out. And feel free to contact either myself or Dr. Freyberg, and we will be glad to fill you in on all things international. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yes, thank you so much. I am excited. I'm actually excited about the Portugal trip. So
yeah, that's a new one for us, Portugal and
yes.
Morocco. So we're gonna visit Portugal, multiple cities in Portugal, and Portugal, if you've never been there, is amazing. And then we're going to go to a place that I've never been to before, which is Morocco, which I'm sure is also amazing. And so, yeah, it's going to be great.
Great. I will pencil that one in for sure.
Great. I look forward to having you join us, Angie.
Yeah, it would be so great. It would be my first, granted, being here all these years, my first School of Business International trip Just a quick story. I was going to go on the study abroad trip during my program. I'm an alum of the Master of Arts in Management. 2018, I graduated. And, I wrote out a deposit on my check and I was going to give it to, I was going to hand it in. And then my mother called me and she says, honey, do you want to go to Europe with me? And here I was in my office ripping up that deposit check going, okay, well, Thailand will have to wait. Going with mom. So anyway, thank you so
Well,
much for sharing all
it's
that
not too late. Not too late. And
late.
staff, as you know, are always welcome.
Absolutely. All right, thank you so much, Michael. And now I'd like to just talk a little bit about, next slide, please, the Writing Lounge. So Allison Freiberg is unable to be here today, and she typically talks about her Writing Lounge, but it is hosted by Allison Freiberg, Professor of Communication and Cultural Studies. It is one of my favorite resources as a student. So it is available to you at no cost. It is a live webinar series that you can squeeze into your lunch hour. Professor Freiberg is a whiz at delivering topics like using APA style, quoting and paraphrasing, how to conquer writer's block, and avoid plagiarism. She also has a session on effective presentations. So we highly recommend that you attend the Writing Lounge throughout your program. It will help you, even if it's just a small section, whether it's a presentation, if you haven't done a presentation for a while, or if you're unfamiliar with writing APA, please join one of her workshops. She has them a couple times a month throughout the calendar year. Information will be sent to you in your redlands.edu account for that, but you can also find her on our website. And next slide, please. So we have our student honors and leadership opportunities. The first one, and I'll just read from my notes here, is the Delta Mu Delta. So if you're not familiar with it, it is an international honors society that recognizes academic excellence in bachelorette, master's, doctorate, degree business programs. Outstanding graduate students in a master's degree program who have completed 3/4 or more of the work required for the master's degree with at least a cumulative grade point average of 3.75 and who are in the top 10% of their college class are considered for election to Delta Mu Delta. Note that it's not something a student can apply for. You can speak with your Assistant Director of Student Success or your ADSS to learn more. There is a one-time fee for lifetime membership of $130, and it includes all fees and chapter dues. So students will receive a certificate of enrollment and a gold Delta Mu Delta pin. So if that's something you're interested in, you can start talking to your ADSS right away just to get information. Second is the Whitehead Leadership Society, or WLS as we call it. And to be considered for WLS, nominees must be a current student with current degree program not signed off at time of nomination and induction. So you must still be in your program. Students may become eligible for WLS nomination in one of these two ways. You serve as a student leader at one of the campuses. And I know that some of you are not at a physical campus, but you can still be a student leader in your cohort. Student leaders are active students currently enrolled and will serve for approximately 2 years or however short or long your program is. You must demonstrate leadership skills and knowledge through service in the community, the workplace, classroom, and through academic excellence. So these students may be nominated by faculty, school administrators, classmates, or by self-nomination. I am a member of WLS. I was inducted during my program, and I believe Anita is also part of WLS. So many of us on our team who have gone through our programs are in this WLS in our leadership roles. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free, again, to get information from your ADSS. And so nominations for this take place once a year in January. All students get notified via email that these nominations are coming up. So I encourage you to get to know each other and place your nominations. And the WLS nomination ceremony, the official ceremony, usually takes place in March. Okay, next slide, please. So your campus service team. This is your front line for university staff on campus, and they are here to help you with anything student-related activities and events, student and faculty support while you're in your program, self-service portal, that means your student planning, supporting a positive learning and teaching environment, and also campus safety and parking. So if you go to the next slide, you can see who our campus service team is. We have Wendy Osborne, the Director of Campus Services, Jennifer Guzman, and you can see that that each person has a dedicated campus. So get to know your person, especially if you're going on campus. You can meet with your ADSS, with your campus service associate. And they are here, like I said, we are one team and we are here to support you. And next slide, please. So technology services. You will all be using Moodle. Moodle is your student platform where you can find your assignments, you can see your syllabus, you can connect with your peers, your instructor. If you have an issue with Moodle, you can't log in or having some problems, there's a link to their to the Moodle support, or you can email them specifically with any questions that you may have. Also, WebEx support. So a lot of our instructors use, especially if you're in the virtual classroom, we'll use WebEx. Some instructors use Microsoft Teams. I had a class where it was Microsoft Teams and that worked out just fine. But if you want to get a little bit more familiar and need a little tutorial on using WebEx, especially if you haven't used it before, this platform that we're in is a WebEx platform. And you can use that HTTP link and to get support. The other thing I want to mention about technologies, if you can go to the next slide. Okay, back it up one slide. So I wasn't sure if that slide was there. So technology support, if you are looking to purchase a laptop or a desktop, this is not on the slide, you can receive a 10% educational discount by going through our redlands.edu website and then click My Redlands and then go into technology. By going through that link, you can choose either, you can go to the Apple store or you can go to Dell and purchase either a laptop or a desktop with that 10% educational discount. The other thing you can do is that we offer as a free to you is the Microsoft Suite. Sometimes, you get a blank slate laptop, especially an Apple, that may not have the Microsoft Suite. We can download that free, or you can download it by contacting our IT services, and they will help you set that Microsoft Suite up for you at no cost. So you'll have it throughout your program. Okay, so that's it for IT support. And then additional resources. We have the School of Business Disability Services. There's a link here. So if you know that you are struggling or you need additional resources and help, then we are here again to support you. And there are some links here on the screen for you. And of course, Leanne will throw that onto the chat. Academic resources and tutoring. Tutoring is available to you at no cost. And if someone, Anita or Liz or Leanne, if you want to jump in and just say a little bit about the tutoring piece, what is covered, feel free to jump in on that.
Angie, we have a couple of slides coming up that talk
Great.
about Smarthinking, which is kind of our new tutoring service. So I'll provide a little more information on that in a few minutes.
Thank you, Anita. That sounds great.
All right, thanks.
That sounds great. Looking forward to that. And then you are ready for, oh, go ahead.
Angie, can I chime in? We have a few questions coming in on the chat that I just want to reference to. For Sean, parking passes at the satellite community college campuses will depend on that community college. So if you're attending one of the satellite campuses, it'll be, I think some campuses do, some campuses don't. So you'll have to get your parking pass from that community college. As far as what you should expect, Alex, to be charged for classes, you guys should have received a student financial estimator. So if you haven't received one, you can connect with your counselor our admissions counselor, and we will be able to provide one on what you should expect for each term, the cost. And I think
And
that's
the
it.
billing should be coming in the next, very soon. When classes start, you should, again, log back into your My Redlands, to your self-service portal, and you can view your billing. And so you probably, none of you have probably gotten billed yet, so, but it's coming. So it looks like classes start the week of the 30th. I would be looking for a bill that week.
Perfect. Great questions. Thank you for answering those. And so the last little bullet here for the COVID-19 preparedness. Oh, just back up one slide. I need just one slide back.
Yeah, Angie, I can't get it in reverse.
That's okay. There is a link on there, and I think that Leanne can drop that in the chat box for the COVID-19 preparedness, where you can, right after that, IT support. There you go. Thank you. So this is information for students and families regarding COVID preparedness, and it's smart just to read through it. Things are always changing, and so we want to stay up to date and keep you guys all safe, you and your family safe. So thank you, Anita. Next slide. And so for this next slide, Anita will talk to you about smart thinking and online tutoring. So Anita, go ahead and fill them in on what this is all about.
Okay, good. Thanks, Angie. So Smart Thinking is a new feature that we're offering all students. Previously, we only offered Smart Thinking to our online MBA students, but it should now be offered to all of you. You'll actually see an icon, a Smart Thinking icon in your Moodle area. So be looking for that. Smart Thinking offers 24/7 tutoring in any subject area. So previously, sometimes you have access to tutoring, but it will only be for statistics or accounting. Smart Thinking has anything you can imagine that you need help on. So feel free to, if you want to Google Smart Thinking, it's Smart Thinking, one word. They have a really good YouTube video, but again, be on the lookout for the icon in Moodle where you can access that. And your Assistant Director of Student Success, your ADSS that we talked about, will be reaching out to all of you to have kind of an initial consultation. As classes get started, you should be expecting an email or a phone call from your student success, kind of like your advisor. And they'll talk to you, and they'll definitely answer any questions that you might have regarding smart thinking. But this is just a helpful slide. You do have 4 free hours of tutoring available to you. So I'm not sure of the cost otherwise. So we can find that out for you. But for now, you have 4 hours of tutoring availability in any subject. So please be on the lookout for that in your Moodle guide. Angie, I'm going to give it back to you. Oh, wait, we're going to skip this slide, I think.
Yes, thank you, Anita.
All right, there, getting started.
So we're getting closer to that. We are at the end of our presentation, and I hope you got a lot of information that you were looking for, and maybe some that you weren't looking for or expecting. But getting started. So classes start in a couple weeks, and I hope you're excited. If you're nervous, that's perfectly normal. That should be expected. It's something new for you, right? Getting back to school. So I want you to kind of help you when you start getting, when you're in the thick of it and you've got classes, you've got your assignments, you've got life and work and all that going on. I want you to just bookmark some things. And so some of the important things is this page here, is the back to school web page. When you go onto our website, you can find, actually, Leanne has put that in the chat for you. Bookmark it for yourself on your web browser. You can always go to it, and it has all the information that we covered today and also the information we covered in our first session in our back to school night. which is, the study abroad, consultancy capstone, the writing lounge, all that information is here for you on one place. There's also a link to the new student orientation. And if you haven't attended the first session, or if you want to review some information, then I highly recommend there's a hyperlink in number 2. If you can see, I know it's kind of small, it might be small on your screen. For the new student orientation, there is a link, and it will get you through everything that you can possibly need to help you refresh your memory about things that you might have missed, or just to guide you along. I want you to get familiar with Moodle. So once you have your login and password, I know some of you still may not have that login and password, but if you do have it, log into your Moodle account and play around in there. Get familiar with it, because that is something that you will be in at least once a week. For my program, I was in there every single day. It just helped me to stay on track, just make sure I didn't miss anything. Print your syllabus. If you want to save paper, then just have a digital copy on your laptop or on your screen. And check for homework on your syllabus, because your classes are starting that last week of August, early September. You may have homework already assigned. Some of you, I think for the Management 667 course, that Finance and Accounting, there isn't a book, but there may be homework. And so we want you to have access to it right away. Make sure that you're reading the assignments and completing that. So when you log into your classroom or you step into your classroom, you will have something to talk about to get started. And if you haven't purchased your books, there is a link on our bookstore. So we use Barnes & Noble bookstore. You don't have to purchase from our bookstore. You can purchase books anywhere. It's just that link for the bookstore will give you the book that you need. Your program planner has the textbook, has the course and the course number, and that's what you'll plug in to find your textbooks. And once you find the textbook that's needed for that course, I just always do a Google search and just find it anywhere. Sometimes you can find it on Amazon Prime, you can find it on Chegg, on all sorts of places. You can purchase digital books. Some people like that. Some books are not available in digital, and they're just only available in print. So make sure that you plan ahead. See a live chat in here. So just want to make sure we're catching everything. Looks like Leanne and Liz are covering you guys. Okay. And then complete your paradigm assessment, your onboarding assessment. When you go into your student planning, you will see a onboarding assessment that can be completed. We want you to really get focused on it before you get into the thick of it and you have a lot of assignments, just to try to do it early on. It's not something that you're graded on, so there's no grade associated with it. It's really just for you to just complete this assessment. It typically takes anywhere from like an hour to maybe 2 hours. And I believe there's a cost associated with it. For the MSBA program, it's the only one that doesn't have this paradigm assessment. All other programs have it. So you will find, it's not something you register for, it's just automatically in your student planning. You can click on it and you can get started. And then check in. Yes, so once you are logged into your class, just make sure you have the correct night of the week that you're starting. It could be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or it could be fully online. Just make sure that you check into your first class. It's the only time we ask you to check in. There's an email that's sent to your, I believe it's your personal email. It says to check into your first class. You click on that, yes, I made it to class, and that's the only time that we'll ask you to check in. Any questions? And you can feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question. And let's go to the next slide, Anita. So we've come to the Q&A portion of the presentation. So at this point, like I said, you can unmute yourself, ask questions, you can comment. We're standing by for you. Okay, how many of you have already purchased your textbooks or know where your class is?
I just want to really speak on, I think there was a comment from Mary regarding an issue with login. Mary, just reach out to your enrollment advisor. They'll be able to kind of troubleshoot for you. Just take a quick screenshot of the error you're receiving from Moodle and they'll help you out, whoever is your advisor.
Great,
Okay, thank you.
Liz.
You're welcome.
And Alex is asking about where can we access the preliminary grading assessment? It does not show on Moodle for me. So Alex, I think you're referring to that, the paragram assessment. Yes.
Angie, I think there was, the assessment office was still making some tweaks to that. So Alex, stay tuned. We'll check on that and see if we can get an update of when that's going. But you're looking in the right place, so that's the good news. It's just not there yet.
Great.
So good question. I think we were still working on that.
Perfect. Thank you, Anita.
I could say a few words about Moodle, Angie.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So as Angie mentioned in the introduction, I'm also, in addition to being International Programs Director, I'm also a professor of accounting and finance. For many of you, if you're in the MBA program, for instance, you'll be taking your first course, BUAD 658, which is the first MBA program. Of course, it's accounting and finance for managers. As far as the Moodle goes, all of the professors should have their Moodle sites open already. If not, they'll be opened fairly soon. So you should be able to access your Moodle through your myredlands.edu page. And you'll see there are some icons off to the left, and one of them is your email and one of them is your Moodle access. I'm assuming, Angie, those are the same for students as they are for faculty, correct? Yeah.
Right.
So if you just click on that Moodle site, it should say in progress. There's a variety of things you can choose from, but it should say in progress, and it should have an icon that will take you directly to your Moodle site. I would encourage you to go there as soon as possible and to access, at very least, the syllabus and read through it, and then you can, from there, figure out which textbooks you need to get. Most of us use an electronic version of the textbook, so you should be able to access that almost immediately. Most instructors, most professors do have some sort of a pre-class assignment. It's usually not very demanding. My particular pre-class assignment in my class is just an icebreaker to get to know other people in your course. Since it's the first course in your, you get to know some of the folks that'll be in your cohort. But I would encourage you to access that Moodle, access the syllabus, and purchase your textbook as soon as possible so you can hit the ground running week one, and because you don't want to get behind. The classes go really fast. They're 8 weeks in length total. It's accelerated education, and so if you get behind, it makes it just so much more difficult to catch up. So you hit the ground running that first day and that first week, and you're ready to roll.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. So if there's no more questions, or anyone on our team and our special guests, if you feel like you want to still share something, we have a little bit of time. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you all so much for taking the time to attend today's session. And again, the resources are available to you through the My Redlands site, and of course, everything that was put into the chat box. And thank you for coming, and enjoy the first week of class. And good luck to you. We'd love to hear from you. So don't just go into class and forget about us. We do want to hear your progress and your stories. And if you ever want to share a particular story with us on how your education's going, and maybe you got a great new career out of it, then share that with us. We do have our Bulldog blog and our School of Business blog that we do post stories about our students. If you're interested in being in a Bulldog blog, or you want to share your own personal story that you write up yourself, feel free to contact any one of us, and we'll be able to support you in that way and share your story. So with that, I wish you all the best, and we'll see you at graduation. Thanks, everyone.